We can't leave Slimy out here all by himself. We can't? We've got a message. CloneMaster.
I suggest you read it.
Since we're together, might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Some of that opening song of ours, you know, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, but each one by your... That's a kind of a dance, isn't it?
Yeah.
A minuet.
Yeah.
I just felt like dancing as I was sitting on my seat there.
Yeah.
Do you play that music to please other people, to give them pleasure? Or do you play it for your own personal pleasure?
For other people.
Other people? Are you thinking about people who might be wanting to learn the piano themselves?
CloneMaster.
What do you think about children?
This is the CloneMaster. Deliver $2 million to CloneMaster Palace in Chicago, or Isaac Newton and Galileo will die.
We'll get those clones. Don't worry about that. You think he's telling the truth about Newton? And Galileo? Galileo? Who is this Galileo dude? Hurry up, sit down. Let me tell you about one of the world's greatest scientists. Galileo, I suppose. Well,
Galileo was one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. He was born about 400 years ago in Pisa, Italy. As a young man, he had planned to become a doctor, but he found himself so interested in mathematics and the nature of the world that he abandoned medicine and devoted his life to the sciences of astronomy and physics. When he was about 18 years old, he made his first important finding. In the Cathedral of Pisa, he watched a hanging lamp swinging back and forth. It occurred to him that it seemed to take the same length of time to make a big swing as to make a smaller swing. He timed the swings by the beat of his own pulse, and later found his idea was true by other experiments. This was the principle of pendulum, and its discovery led to the invention of the pendulum clock. Galileo worked the important law that says objects fall through the air at the same rate of speed no matter how light or heavy they are. When people would not believe it, he demonstrated this law by dropping balls of different size from the Leaning Tower of Pisa and showing that they hit the ground at the same time. Galileo was the first to use a telescope to observe the movements of heavenly bodies also. He made improvements on the crude telescope of his time until the one that was powerful enough to show the craters on the moon was invented. The earlier great astronomer, Copernicus, had already said that the Earth and other planets revolve around the sun, and not the sun around the Earth, as many people had believed for thousands of years. But Galileo, with his telescope, was the first man to prove that this was true. I can't believe the CloneMaster would capture Galileo. I don't know what he would want with him. Galileo has a vast amount of knowledge, and if the CloneMaster goes about it right, we might be in some trouble. More discoveries about Galileo were so different from what men then believed that they were considered dangerous. and he was forced to stop publishing them for many years. But he kept on believing in them, and he kept on with his experiments. Galileo lived to be an old man, and in his last years, even though he became blind, Galileo used to say that no man had ever seen more than he. He died in 1641, I believe it was. He was about 75, 76, 77 years old. It's hard to imagine Galileo and Newton together. There's just no limit to what they could do. I'm not real familiar with Newton anyway. In fact, I've never heard of him. Tell me more about it, if you don't mind. Oh, did I tell you that Galileo has a long beard, and the only picture I ever saw of him, he was about 70. Wasn't very handsome, but he is intelligent. I don't know anything about this Newton guy. Famous football player or what?
Newton. Recognize that, man. Yeah, I believe Newton was a mathematician, and one of the greatest to ever live, too. His discoveries and ideas guided other scientists for 300 years. Let me see. He was born in England, Christmas Day, I believe, 1642. One of his greatest discoveries was when he was under the tree, and he was just kind of sitting there, and this apple fell on his head. And he said, must be gravity, as I recall. Anyway, he studied at Cambridge University, as I recall. Graduated in 1665. Between that time and 1668, he made some of his most important discoveries. He invented calculus, and he discovered that white light was really made up of 6 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Let's see. He also developed the idea of universal gravitation. And his most famous books are The Principles of Natural Philosophy. And I believe that explains what he thought about motion and optics and some of his ideas on light. Let me see here. When he was 50 years old, Newton had a nervous breakdown. And from that time until his death, he did very little scientific work. He became very absent-minded and also very short-tempered, and was even careless about the way he dressed. Let's see, he was president of the Royal Society of London, and that was an organization of scientists. He was also a member of the English Parliament. Yeah. And in 1705, he was made a knight by Queen Anne of England. And afterwards, he became known as Sir Isaac Newton. He was always very modest and a religious man. That's all I can remember about him.
Well, that's interesting. Let me tell you about
I think we better start on this case. If we don't, we'll be up all night.
Isaac Newton. Your knowledge will be shared with me.
Welcome, Isaac.
Logical.
I am the CloneMaster. You should serve me well.
Ah, Galileo, I've been expecting you.
Totally bizarre.
Look, our clones. What a couple of half-baked clams.
Probably the CloneMaster's helicopter. You get Galileo, I'll get Newton. Anybody?
You better check the basement.
Up here.
Knew he'd hide you down here.
Newton, I'm going to take you to the car. We're going to get back to Dallas and Chicago to take the
Car? What's a car?
You'll find out. Through here.
on, Galileo. Here, take this Uzi.
Uzi?
Yes, Uzi.
What's it do?
Don't point it at anyone except for someone you want to kill. Then you pull the trigger.
You can get to the car. Car. Get in it. Physical structure. Just incredible. I mean, this could not be
Galileo,
built. I mean, look at this.
get to the car.
Car?
That blue thing down there with the brown things at the
Oh,
bottom.
interesting.
Talk to Newton about it. It's the Uzi. Time to get even.
Come on, get up.
Come on, we're here. Go!
Galileo! Turn the metal thing. Move the stick to R and bring it around here.
Clones are getting better. I want to take on the CloneMaster himself.
Will you step on the gas, Galileo? The little pedal.